Hi, this is Bob Sorrentino from Italian Roots and Genealogy, and I'm here today with Paul Nauta, who is the Senior Marketing and Communications Manager for FamilySearch.org. So thanks, Paul. Thanks for being here.
Hey, I am happy to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about Family Search so we can help people find out what we found out. So the first thing, and I have to be honest, I haven't tried it yet or signed up for it. But I found out recently that there is a one-on-one consulting that Family Search does.
Yeah, there is. This is brand new, and although we've thought about it for years, we just weren't sure how to make it scale. So one of the new norms that's come from the constraints of the pandemic has been the free consulting services that we offer through the library. The library, FamilySearch Library in Salt Lake City, as well as many of our centers, are still closed, as you may know. And so as we saw that this was going to be a long-term thing, we thought, what can we do to continue to reach out and serve our patrons of the library? And so one of the things we've began experimenting with is providing free online consultations for patrons. And so that is now out of the test period. We'll be announcing it officially here soon, but those that are listening to this program are welcome to use it. And I'll send you the link here after today, and you can post it online for your listeners to see. But patrons can go online at the reservation page, and they'll be asked to answer 4 or 5 questions, but they can set up an appointment based on their area of research with one of our specialists in the library. It's totally free. They're 20 minutes each. So they'll go on, answer a couple questions. The type of questions they'll answer will basically help the specialist in the library understand what the research question is that you might have, and gives them a little bit of time to become familiar with what you're trying to do and prepare themselves, so that your time with them is very, very helpful. And they're welcome to do more than one consultation. They can do multiple consultations. We just ask that the patrons wait at least 1 week between their follow-up consultations if they want to do more. One, to give the patron the opportunity to follow up on the recommendations that the specialists in the library will give them. But 2, to also provide the opportunity for others to benefit from that personal service as well.
So is it geared more towards helping you get past a roadblock or something like that, or is it more geared towards helping you navigate through Family Search?
Typically, it's not to navigate through Family Search. We've got online videos and things like that, so but they certainly can do that. But this, to use the personal assistance of a certified genealogist, research specialist from the library, it's best to come in with your roadblock and your research questions that you have. So if you've got a brick wall that you're dealing with, you can't read a document, for example, you can bring any of those type of things to your consultation, and they can help you. So be as clear as you can up front what it is you're trying to do, so that we can match you with the best staff member to assist you with your problems. And the other thing I should mention is they can do these in multiple languages as well. We're finding that this consultation service is very appealing to the diaspora people. So think of Brazil and Argentina, throughout South Central Latin America, and other places of the world where one's ancestors have immigrated to different parts of the world. So people are taking advantage of this service from all over the world in different languages, and we are able to accommodate different languages. I'm not sure what the limitations are there, but it's a pretty amazing service. So a lot of the Italians, for example, I spoke to a fellow a couple of days ago in the library that does this, helps with the Italian research, and he said he had 5 in the last couple of days, 5 consultations for Italian research support. 4 of the 5 were in Spanish. So they were from Argentina, in that area. So we're not the only ones trying to get back to the old country. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess not. You know what might be fun if we could work it out. I was planning on doing it anyway, and if it's okay with you guys, maybe I could do my session online here, and we could show people how it works.
Yeah, if you don't mind talking about your personal family tree in this public setting, or focus the research on segments of your tree where you wouldn't mind that being discussed openly. Yeah, I could hook you up with one of the researchers in the library that does the Italian consultations, and let them broadcast your session with them. That'd be great. We'd love to do it.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would be really really cool. And this way we could show people how it works. And if anybody's shy, although I don't know why they would be. So yeah, we could try and set that up offline. So now I know there's a lot of other things, and one of the things that I really liked about FamilySearch, and I kick myself every once in a while that I didn't discover this sooner, is the way you can build out your tree, which is much different than Ancestry.com, which a lot of us use to build out our trees. And, I'm going back and forth, but with the indexes, and if somebody else has found the same person you're researching, it's very easy to go down the line if you're going back, 100 years or 200 years, if somebody else has found that same person you're researching.
Yeah, that's an advantage of the FamilySearch family tree online. It's called a collaborative tree. So the idea is people that you don't know that you're related to, where your tree begins to intersect, you can, become familiar with who they are and introduce there, but also you can benefit from the research that others have done and are doing, and even begin collaborating in kind of real time on information on that line. I've been able to hook up with several of my cousins that I didn't know, even from Louisiana, who have taken an interest in our family tree and have begun working on theirs. And they ask me for information, and I can share mine, and vice versa. So the collaborative nature of the FamilySearch family tree is a tremendous research for people, and it's free. Along that line, you want me to share some of the other tools that we've got to help with any kind of research, but we'll focus, of course, on Italian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please do.
Okay. So one of the new tools that we've just come out with, it's called Italy Guided Research, and I'll send you the link to this. You can actually go to this page. If you don't know where to start, you are extremely new and don't have a clue, you can go to this guided research page for Italy, and it's very simple. It's going to say, do you know the province where the ancestor lived that you're searching? If yes, click on the province link. If you don't, then click on I do not know, and it will kind of work you down through the research process to help you get to the information that you want. So it's a little bit like having a consultant in your pocket. They just kind of ask you the right questions to guide you ultimately to the research that may or may not be online, or otherwise show you what the research approach needs to be. So the Italy Guided Research page, and I'll send that to you for your viewers. The other thing is our Explore Images feature. The vast majority of the Italian records on our site are what we call digital images only. So they've not all been indexed yet. So by indexing, we mean, hey, Bob can go in and type in the name of his maternal Italian great-grandmother, and just type in a name and hopefully get a result set back in just a second from that search. That's to be able to do that, to type in a name and have it go out and search billions of records and bring you an exact result set back to match. That needs an index. And indexes come from the original source documents. Well, international content is not as indexed, fully indexed as stuff is in the US, North America, English-speaking countries of the world. So, but the good thing is, for Italy, FamilySearch, a number of years ago, signed a contract with the National Archive of Italy to digitize and index the entire civil registration of Italy. So that's all the birth, marriages, and death records of Italy from 1806 to 1947. So that is about 180 million images, to put that into perspective, and over 500 million names of our Italian ancestors. So that digitization process is well underway. I think we've got around half of it digitized already, and those digital images are available online. So if you were to go to Explore Images on FamilySearch.org and type in the province or the city or the town where your relatives are from, it will take you directly to those digital images if we have digitized them yet online. If not, they're coming. And so that image explorer is pretty darn cool. And what that saves you from doing is having to make 10 clicks down through the catalog and to try to find them. The image explorer just takes you right there. And you can get right into the images of birth, marriage, and death records for your ancestors. And there's other records there as well. And Explorer Images will take you there. So that's something to consider. We also have country pages, a country page for Italy. And I'll send you the link to that as well. You can go directly to the country page for Italy and just see all the content that we have for Italy. So searchable collections. We've also got how-to videos that your viewers can watch, from beginner to intermediate level type questions you might have. We have the wiki that introduces you to other help groups and content that's online to work with your research process and help you solve your research questions and goals. The wiki is built by the community. We have people like you, Bob, or others who are specialists in Italian research that actually come online and add new tips and tricks all the time. So that's an area you'd want to be familiar with. And probably the last thing would be the Family Search communities online. There's the Family Search community, and I'll send you the link for that. You should join the Family Search community. There's a Facebook community for Italy, and it's monitored by Family Search staff who specialize in Italian research, as well as community specialists. And I'm going to tell you, I've gone out. People have sent me questions for their Italian research. I didn't know how to answer the question. I'd go out and post it on the Family Search community. Usually within 24 hours, I've got a response back from the Italian community on the Family Search community page. And then there's the Facebook page. There's a Southern Europe genealogy research community for Italy on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to that, you should. They will help you interpret documents. So if, let's say, you find a birth record of your ancestor in the image collections at Family Search and you can't read it, you can take that image and put it in the Facebook community, and usually quickly they will interpret that for you, translate it.
Wow, that's really great. I didn't know that. And people ask me all the time on my Facebook page, or they'll post something and say, "Can somebody translate this?" Well, that's a big deal. That really is a big deal. So let me ask you a question about that, because not everyone that listens is as lucky as you and I to be 100% Italian. So what are the plans for the rest of Europe, the rest of the world, as far as what Family Search is doing with getting the records from those countries?
Anyone that knows Family Search will know that we've got records from all over the world. Family Search has records from over 200 countries worldwide. And we have 300 camera teams that, if it wasn't a pandemic year, we typically would have 300 camera teams that are capturing new records. And we try to focus on tier 1 records. That's a term that we use internally, but that basically means records that have the highest amount of genealogical lineage link content in it. So think of census records, birth, marriage, and death records, for example, records worldwide. So Family Search is an organization so that we can do the most good. We tend to every year make a handful of countries our priority countries for the year. which means, yeah, we'll continue to gather records from a bunch of countries. But if we could take 5 or 10 countries specifically in a year and focus on it, the goal is to get like 20% of that country's tier 1 records published online to help people with their ancestors. So, and these numbers aren't correct, but the reason 20% is if we could get 20%, for example, of census records and birth, marriage, and death records up for a country, that means over 80% of the people that have a connection with that country through their ancestry will most likely have successes at finding information that they are seeking. So 20% is a magic threshold, if you will, that really helps people on a broad base to succeed. And we're not going to stop there. We'll keep doing it. But instead of spreading ourselves thin and doing a little bit here, a little bit there for 100 different countries a year, we try to pick a handful of countries where we can put a lot of content online. So, for example, ones that we've worked with in the past are the Bahamas and Canada and the Cook Islands and Denmark and Finland and Norway and the Isle of Man and Mexico, New Zealand, Sweden, the UK, the US are all countries you're going to find a lot of information for. This year, we're focusing on American Samoa and Fiji and Norway and Puerto Rico. You'll find France and Brazil as well with a ton of information going online. So people will be surprised to see what we've got. And don't just search the indexes. A lot of people come to the site and they just go in and type in names and search, and they think, found some stuff but not what I wanted. The vast majority of FamilySearch's content is still in a digital image format. And that's why that Explore Image feature that I mentioned earlier is really, really important. Go look at the Explore Image feature. I'd be surprised if we most likely don't have the records that you're looking for. They just are in a digital format, and you have to kind of scroll through them. You can't search them by name yet.
Oh, that's good to know, because I've done that, exactly what you said. One of my great-great-grandmothers is from Lucerne, Switzerland.
Beautiful town, by the way.
I've never been. I almost made it to Switzerland once, and then the trip got canceled.
Lucerne is gorgeous.
I was just poking around one day, and I came across this book of, her last name is Mohr, M-O-H-R, and I came across a book that had the officers of the Neapolitan Army in the 1860s, and I find Bernardo Mohr, and I'm like, oh boy, this is interesting. And he was a captain, and my great grandfather was a lieutenant in the cavalry at the same time, and I was able to make that connection. And eventually, I did find the records, but I'm going to do that and look for Lucerne and see if I could find those records.
You're going to find that we have a lot of records for Switzerland, Lucerne. Lucerne has probably got townships, and so the more you know, you'll be able to drill down on that. But Explore Images was released earlier this year and a little bit late into last year, and it is still a highly unknown feature. So if you go to FamilySearch and you hover over search, the second option under search, it'll say images. So that is Explore Images. And you just, type in the city, the location, and you'll see what we have. And then bookmark those, so that you can come back to them quickly in the past. And even the country pages, if you go to FamilySearch under search, and you do search records, it'll show you a map of the world on the right. Click on the area where your ancestors from. So, for example, if I go to Northern Europe, it'll do a drop down of all these different countries, and click on the country of interest to you and your ancestors. So, if it's Finland, for example, it will very quickly take you to the country page at FamilySearch for Finland. And you'll be able to immediately search the index records that we have. You can search specific data sets that we have. And then there's a section that's image-only historical records. But I don't know that is as up-to-date as the Explore Images is. I would go to the Explore Images feature to search because it involves the catalog. and see what we have to offer. So every country, I think, has a country page. And I'm sure as I say that, someone's going to let you know that they've got a country that their ancestors from that doesn't seem to have a country page. But let us know what that is, Bob, and I'll get on the case of looking into that. But I think that most of the countries, if we've got content for that country, let's put it that way, for the most part, there's a country page. But there may be a few that we've missed, but it's just a huge resource, you know. And for a free resource that FamilySearch is, people barely scratch the surface of what FamilySearch has to offer to them in their research. So for historical records that are available online, indexes and images, to be able to get free consultations, to be able to reach a FamilySearch community that we are providing you access to speak with enthusiasts and specialists worldwide to get free help along that line. It just never ceases to amaze me how generous the community is at helping people. And I always learn something. Whenever I post something online for someone that I don't know the answer to, I am always amazed at the resources that they come up with and link us to and share with us. And the wiki has a lot of that information in it as well. It's a tremendous resource. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be Italian. We apologize affectionately if everyone's not Italian or doesn't have Italian roots, but we know that happens to be the case. My wife says all the time, she says, you know what? The difference between those of you with Italian roots and other roots is that Italians are just nauseatingly loyal and in love with their roots. And she's right. I can't explain why it is, but we are just passionately in love with our heritage. And we tend to be obnoxiously in love with our roots. But my response, I said, is that a bad thing? How can that be a bad thing? You know?
I could vouch for that. I do the same thing with my wife. You know, she says, "You looking for dead people again?" But when I find one of hers, she loves it.
Yeah,
and she's Sicilian and Puerto Rican, so it's very interesting. Well, Paul, this is one of the reasons why I want to do this, because as I found out, I use very, very little of FamilySearch, and I should be using more. But I think this is a good start for people that are new or novices and want to find out what they're looking for. And this is the perfect spot for them to go to get the information that they need and to get the help, especially with that FamilySearch consulting. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah. It was just right now, too, before the cat gets out of the bag, right? And the world finds out about that. Get online and get you some one-on-one consulting to get your bearings straight and some insight on where to start and what to do, and let them try to get through some brick walls for you. It's a lot of fun to direct people to that service. I've done that quite a bit now, just while it's been in testing, and I've asked them to let me know how it goes. And I've not had anyone that just wasn't overjoyed with the help that they were able to get. Everyone that, at least that I've referred, has been able to make a breakthrough or to learn something very, very helpful by meeting with one of the consultants. So yeah, take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, and have a great day out there in Utah, and we'll talk again soon.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Bob. Always fun to talk about family history and, of course, things Italian.